and you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind. International Cricket Council?
Biased.
Biased. Hello and welcome to the sixth episode of All Things Cricket by the 12th Man. I am your host, Ujjwal Sachdeva, and today we have with us a Scottish all-rounder who's been with us at two World Cups, the 2015 World Cup at Australia and the 2016 T20 World Cup at India. The man of the match in Scotland's first victory at an ICC tournament, and the game changer, the almost game changer, in the famous game against New Zealand, and one of the biggest contributors to Scotland's streak of 7 consecutive victories. A former cricketer, not just with Scotland, but with Sussex as well, and their Young Player of the Year in 2013. To top it all, a qualified personal trainer. We have with us Matthew Machan. Welcome, Matt. It's an honor to have you with us on the show.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me on. It's a pleasure to be on.
So, Matt, we plan to do this in 3 segments. So, firstly, I will be asking you your opinion on cricket in general. And second segment will be about international cricket, your opinions on some of the most prevailing issues. And finally, we'll have a fun rapid fire segment. So I'll start with my first segment. So my first question is to you is that you've been playing for a while and you have played 2 World Cups and it has been the highlight of your career in your own words, right? So as a young player who's been playing the World Cup, what was your mindset entering the tournament and throughout the tournament as a whole?
Great question. I just wanted to enjoy the tournament. It was my first World Cup in 2015 in Australia, New Zealand. And I just wanted to go out there, enjoy it, experience what it was like to play against the best countries and the best players in the world, and just take the whole experience on board and just be very open to the experiences that I would have during it. I didn't set myself any targets or anything. I just went and enjoyed it. And looking back now, I don't think I could have enjoyed it anymore. It's absolutely fantastic.
That's great. And Matt, if I may ask, it was an unfortunate incident that you had to hang your boots from international cricket at the age of 26 because of your wrist injury. But if you look at the positive side, you came out of it strong and you came out of it handling an entire cricket academy right now. And I've been following it and the advice, the regularity, it's been amazing. So can you just take us through the thought process that helped you get through this and how you managed to get back up?
Obviously retiring because of injury is never nice, not just for me, but for any sportsman.
Agreed.
Especially looking back so young at 26 when I only had sort of my career to sort of go forward with. When I retired, I started doing coaching. It's only really been in the last 4 or 5 months that I've managed to, I'll put my stuff online. I feel like right now I've got a lot of value in stuff that I can give back from my experiences in playing 2 World Cups and playing a lot of professional cricket. So, it was difficult. I'm not going to lie. It was difficult to transition from being a professional sportsman to, I guess, now a professional coach. But at the same time, what motivates me is giving back to players and sharing my experiences that players may not have had yet or may never have had. That's what motivates me. That's what drives me. And I just want to give back as much as possible and help the next generation coming through.
That's great. And my next question has to do with Scotland cricket precisely and cricket in associate nations. So there has been a continuous and ongoing discussion on making cricket a global sport. And one very important aspect to consider is that of associate nations, of course. So as being a member of associate playing nation, what do you think are the reforms that are required to make the game better for associate playing nations?
I think if we're being really honest, a lot of it comes down to the funding from the ICC. To create the infrastructure within the associate community and nation without a lot of funding is tricky because it isn't their country's national sport. But I think it has to be globalised more than it is to really grow the game. But I think for associates to do that, they have to be very, very good at white ball cricket because white ball cricket ultimately is where the funding is. It's where the prize money is. It's where the sponsors are. So I think that's why a lot of associates focus more on white ball cricket. And you can see the likes of Scotland and Ireland now have test status through white ball cricket. Hong Kong played in a few World Cups. Papua New Guinea. There's loads of countries coming through. So the associate's brilliant. quite sure what the next step is to sort of make it more globalised, because the 2015 World Cup went from 16 World Cups to 10 2019. So I'm not sure what the plan is, but I think the associates are on the right track. They're improving, weekly almost, and having these franchise tournaments around the world. The IPL, you've got Canada T20, Big Bash, etc. In the T10 tournaments, the associate players are now getting a chance to experience playing with seasoned international players that have played all year round from major test nations. So that's brilliant, because they're getting experiences they would never have had before. So yeah, fantastic, and I think it's only a positive for associate.
Okay, and what is personally your take on the concept of, or slash the argument of having 16 permanent playing nations and 16 members in a World Cup and not 10?
I would like to see it, simply because I experienced a 16-man World Cup, and although Scotland at that time didn't win a game, we were very, very close. And I think if we went there and had the same tournament now with the players they've got now, it would be a different story. In the first game, we nearly beat New Zealand. We nearly beat Afghanistan. We lost by 1 wicket. So there were some close games. So it could have been a different story. If you look at that tournament as well, Ireland beat the West Indies. They beat Bangladesh. So I would like to see a 16-man tournament, and then I would like to see a 16 full members essentially at the moment, and then split the test into the Test Championship with eight to 10 first class, 8 to 10 of the top teams, and then maybe 6 of the full teams, but the lesser teams, Scotland, Ireland, Afghanistan at the moment, to give them experience, try and progress that next ranking.
That makes a lot of sense. And Matt, when you say that going forward into cricket, global T20 leagues will play an important role. Towards cricket as a whole, how do you think these global T20 leagues will contribute, and not just to player success, but towards cricket as a whole?
I think it's massive. I think it's really starting to grow the game. If you look at the CPL, the Caribbean Premier League, for instance, and they have now got games in America, in Miami, I believe, sort of 3 or 4 games. So they're going into America. I think just trying to grow the game, because it's important. Obviously, India is massive. Pakistan, Australia, England, all the big test nations play it. But to get it into countries where it's not so prevalent, maybe America and things like that, I think will really, really grow the game. So yeah, it's massively important. You see 2020 and T10 now, up everywhere, which is fantastic. And it's growing the game, and that's what you want, isn't it? So I think the more of these tournaments, the better.
What do you think about the game that happened yesterday, the 3-team format in South Africa?
You know what? I haven't really followed it that much, but for me, on the way cricket's going, I don't want to see too much change. I quite like 2 teams. I like Test cricket. I like first-class cricket. It's proper cricket. It's hard. But I love white ball cricket. I love 50 over. I love 2020. And I've had a few friends actually that have played in the T10 stuff, and they've had mixed reviews. Some like it, some don't. It's very hit and miss. It's a bit like baseball. So, I quite like 5-day of first class, 50 over, and 2020. I don't think it needs to change too much. So I'm personally not too sure about the 100 competition that's coming in the UK at the moment. It might be a massive success. It might not. I don't know. But yeah, I think T20 is such a good model. I don't see why you necessarily need to change too much. But I get it. To get children in. Some of them don't want to sit for 4 or 5 hours watch a game. T10 might be the perfect opportunity. So yeah, 3 teams I'm not too sure about at the moment. And I didn't follow the rules too closely. I was actually coaching yesterday. But, if it's going to get people in, if it's going to grow the game, then I'm all for it. I just think it needs to be done in a way that it doesn't lose the integrity.
Agreed. So, Matt, that's it for our first section. We'll be moving to our second section that is about international cricket as a whole. So my first question to you in this segment is about you. So throughout all of these years, what is your favorite international cricket moment?
Great question. I have a couple. My debut for Scotland. 2012 or 13 against Afghanistan and Sharjah. Man of the match in the 2016 World Cup. And having played Scotland over 50, 60 times, sort of 4 or 5 years was quite a good achievement. Yeah, just everything really. Qualifying for the 50 over World Cup, 2020 World Cup. I've got a lot. I haven't got very many bad memories of Scottish cricket because the Scotland team rise when I was playing and still is. So yeah, there's some massive highlights for me.
Okay. Okay, moving forward, Matt, there is a segment of my blog where cricket enthusiasts can send in topics or questions they want to be discussed with the person coming up. So I have 2 questions that people want, actually 3 questions that people want to hear the answer from you. So
Sure.
the first question is that it's been a year, almost, actually more than a year since the dramatic final between England and New Zealand happened. And England actually won by the barest of margins. So in your opinion, the way in which the result was decided, was it appropriate, or because there was a change in rules after that. So do you think the result decision was appropriate?
Great question. Yes, I think it was right at the time. I think those rules are in place for occasions where it happened. New Zealand beat England, but obviously they're off the bat for 4 and whatever happened. Obviously, it's changed now, those rules. But at the time, you have to have rules in place. So looking back, it's a tough defeat for New Zealand, but at the same time, if it was the other way around, New Zealand wouldn't be complaining or anything like that. So I think it was the fairest way it was done, and to take it to a super over as well. It was just a fitting way for cricket after such a great tournament in the UK.
Okay. And the second question for you is that where do you think where does the importance lie of getting the right amount of guidance and coaching to young cricketers? Because that's something you've been doing with precise cricket. So how do you find this young talent and how do you manage to train them on a regular basis?
I think it's very cliche to say, but you have to enjoy it. You have to want to go to practice and train. And then it's just nurturing it. Yes, you can coach someone and they can take that relevant information on board, which is brilliant. But I always say to people, look, I can give you all the information in the world, but it might not work for you. So take bits from what I tell you, what other people tell you, and put them into your game. Don't necessarily listen to one person. So that's what I say. And then once you find someone who likes the way you coach and you have a good relationship, then you can sort of grow through their career with them. So at the moment, I've got a couple of people that I've worked for quite a while, and I can start to see them grow now, which is nice. But yeah, just enjoy it, and as I said, play how you want to play, not how I or another coach wants you to play.
Okay, and I have a quick follow-up to that. So, there are a lot of budding cricketers, who do not get an opportunity to play despite their talent because of lack of guidance / because of lack of support. So, in your opinion, not just in Scotland, like in any cricket playing nation, how do you think you can find this talent at the root level, and how do you think you can train them to increase popularity of sport and increase the guidance that these kids get?
I think if a player thinks they're good enough, they should just keep sending in videos or sending it to coaches, and hopefully you'll get noticed. As the game's growing, there's going to be more and more people that are doing it. So I think it's about being sort of committed to try and putting yourself out there, whether it's online, whether it's sending emails to people, to really try and get seen. Because the likes of associate cricket, where there's not as much funding, there's less coaches. You look at the England team. It's like 15 players at the moment in the bubble, and there's like 20 coaches. Yeah. Whereas with Scotland, there's 15 players and 3 coaches. So to see the talent is harder for the coaches. But if you're relentlessly driven to keep sending footage in and speaking to people and sending email, then eventually something will come.
Okay. So you just need to keep trying and keep pushing it, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. So that's it from this segment as well. Now we'll move to our rapid fire segment. So it goes as it goes. So you have to say the first thing / the first name that comes into your head. So the first question again is about you. So the funniest moment that you relate to in cricket, on or off the field?
World Cup 2015, off the field. Just a great time, enjoying such a great country. It's brilliant.
Okay. And your favorite active international cricketer?
Active international Carl Kurtzer from Scotland.
Okay. So, in your opinion, I will be saying certain questions. You just have to answer them as quick as possible.
Sure.
So, the next big name in international cricket, according to you, will be?
Phil Salt.
Okay. So, you have to pick the best among the fabulous four of cricket: Kane Williamson, Joe Root, Steven Smith, and Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli.
Okay. The greatest T20 batsman to have played the game?
Oh, Chris Gale.
Chris Gale. And the fiercest bowler in international cricket currently?
Currently, Mitchell Stark.
Mitchell Stark. Okay. The smartest cricketing brain in your opinion?
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith. The toughest bowler you've had to face in your international career?
Mitchell Johnson.
Johnson. Okay. And the biggest influence on your career as a cricketer?
A guy called Mr. Roberts, who taught me when I was very young all the basics that sort of been ingrained with me.
Okay, that's great. So the next question is the most underrated and the most overrated cricketer according to you?
Most underrated would be in international cricket?
Yeah.
Moeen Ali.
Moeen Ali. Okay. And the overrated slash somebody you think?
Overrated would be... Oh, these are tough questions. Overrated would be Johnny Burstow.
Johnny Burstow. Okay, that's great. Now, in the next set of questions, I will be just saying certain things, and you have to say the first thing that comes to your mind. So I'll start with Cricket Scotland.
Amazing.
Amazing. International Cricket Council.
Biased.
Biased. Okay. Jofra Archer.
Super talent.
Okay. Precise Cricket.
A global brand.
Cricket in Associate Nations.
Improving.
And women's cricket.
On the rise.
On the rise. Perfect. So your prediction for the ongoing series between England and West Indies. So it's at 1-0 for West Indies. You think the series will end at?
I think England are in a great position to win this game, getting 470 in the first innings. It rained yesterday in the UK, so obviously no play.
Yeah.
So obviously they've got two days to try and get 19 wickets, which is going to be tough. So today is a massive day if it doesn't rain in the UK. So if England have a good day today, I think they may go 1-0 up. 1-1, and then it'll be an amazing sort of final game at Old Trafford. But if they don't and it's a draw, then all to play for England to try and level the series in the final fixture.
Okay. And one final question for you, Matt. After all of these years, after being a player, after being an international player with Sussex, after being a coach, could you just put in one word what cricket means to you?
My life. It's given me everything so far. So I love it, and it's a real passion. It's more than a few words, but cricket is an amazing game.
I agree. That's quite an answer. So that is it from my side, Matt. Anything that you would want to say to those who are watching this, or your fans, or anybody, anything you want to say to me?
First and foremost, thank you very much for inviting me on this podcast. It's a real privilege. And for anyone that wants to check out Precise Cricket, please go to Precise Cricket on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Like, subscribe, and interact more. And I'd love to get to know all the people that have watched this video. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matt, for being here. It has been a pleasure to have you.